Corey, it's a pleasure having you over at IAMS. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Sukant. Such a pleasure speaking to you.
Real pleasure. So I'll jump right in with the first question. You're a well-regarded Santoor player. You've been around the world. Your roots are in Kashmir. But I've always wondered, how have the conflicts in Kashmir affected art and artists there?
Well, it's really unfortunate the entire scenario in a particular society
Hmm.
that really has its effect on the art and culture.
Right.
And it's been part of every ruler that whenever he would conquer a particular area, the first thing that he would try and do is make a change in the art and culture of that particular region. Because only then, when you change the art and culture,
Hmm.
the mindset of people starts changing.
Right.
And fortunately, that is not something our neighboring country tried a lot, and it didn't, make any difference in
Yeah.
Kashmir because of various factors. See, Kashmir is such a beautiful place with the lineage of Shaivism and then Sufism, and it's in
Right.
the roots of the people.
Hmm.
And then my grandfather and father, they have worked so much,
Hmm.
just taken music to the masses.
Yeah.
So music and art and culture, it's so deep inside the soul of a person
Hmm.
in Kashmir
Hmm.
that despite all these problems
Hmm.
which have been there since 1990, last 30 years, there hasn't been a cultural dent in Jammu and Kashmir. But musicians really went through a very tough phase. There were no concerts happening, and when my father would even call them for certain programs to Delhi,
Hmm.
there have been incidents when they were given death threats by the militants. But they simply came and they said, our Ustad is calling and we will go.
Yeah.
Uh, Things changed over the period of years.
Hmm.
Some concerts started happening,
Hmm.
but when there is a choice, rather when a person has to take a decision between bread and butter and a concert, so the person starts moving on to a different side.
Hmm.
And that's what has happened. People from lineages, they have music legacies, they have shifted to different fields for their livelihood. And
Hmm.
that's really strange, very unfortunate, which has happened in Kashmir. People didn't get their share of recognition as well
Yeah.
because of all the disturbance.
Hmm.
Their art really suffered.
Hmm.
It is something which shouldn't have happened, but the fact is that it's part of the history.
Yeah.
And still, the culture of Kashmir
Hmm.
stands
Hmm.
vibrant and tall because of
Hmm.
the Shaivism, Sufism, and the contribution of my grandfather and father.
Right. So, and how was the experience composing music in the film Shikara?
Shikara, Shikara was absolutely beautiful to
Hmm.
compose music for the film because Mr. Vidhu Vinod Chopra gave me all the freedom
Hmm.
and to explore various possibilities in composing. I remember he once told me when I was composing the main theme of the movie, which is the love theme.
Yeah.
So he said, I want a theme
Hmm.
which sounds international but is rooted deep into Kashmir.
Hmm.
And he gave me, for reference, he said, have you heard Godfather theme? I said, yes, I have.
Yeah.
He said, make me a Kashmiri Godfather theme. And I said, how can I make Kashmiri Godfather? And he said, well, I expect that from you. And
Hmm.
I think it's his expectations which
Hmm.
turned out beautifully into music. And finally, the entire music
Hmm.
of the film, it's absolutely very different from what we get to hear normally in Indian films.
Right.
Very rarely we find such
Hmm.
great music part of the background as well.
Hmm.
And of course, there was a Kashmiri song, and that is, of course, something which I love doing. I was really happy, to
Hmm.
work on Kashmiri music in this film.
Okay.
and bring out the beautiful aspect of
Hmm.
Kashmiri music and artists
Hmm.
uh, in the commercial cinema. I think it
Okay.
was a wonderful opportunity
Hmm.
that way.
Hmm. Are there any more film projects in the pipeline?
The couple of them, yes, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, due to the pandemic, things have got postponed.
Hmm.
And let's see. See, at the end of the day, I'm basically a classical musician. I am a santoor player.
Right.
I'm very right from the beginning itself, because Shikara has been my debut commercial movie.
Hmm.
But still, I'm very selective about the projects that I want to take. I
Okay.
don't just want to get swayed away into the Bollywood
Hmm.
scene, because at the end of the day, I represent a huge legacy and I have to take care of that as well.
Talking about the legacy, do you ever feel any kind of a pressure considering, your grandfather is a legend, and your father is a legend? So, is there any kind of pressure that you feel?
You know, there have been so many people from different fields
Hmm.
who have actually crushed due to this huge pressure of
Hmm.
legacy or the fame of the of his or her parents, be it acting, be it music, any
Hmm.
performing art, any fine art. But for me, I think it's been one of the greatest assets for me. It's been the greatest strength for me. Uh, just the uh, I actually thank the Almighty for giving me birth into such a great legacy,
Hmm.
into this family. And the responsibilities are quite a lot,
Hmm.
the expectations are quite a lot. And I think those expectations and those responsibilities have actually shaped my personality in such a way,
Hmm.
which have contributed in a very positive way, rather than pulling me down in this pressure of the legacy that I have.
Right. And, you've been doing a lot of international collaborations also, which is very interesting. So, what is it that you derive from them? How do they enrich you?
Well, I think every time you do a collaboration, you learn something new
Hmm.
from the musicians that you are working with.
Hmm.
And it's a wonderful feeling to exchange your musical thoughts, your
Hmm.
creativity.
Hmm.
And at the same time, I love doing collaborations,
Yeah.
uh, whether it has been with Maestro Zubin Mehta ji, whether
Hmm.
it's been other musicians, whether it's been Vienna Boys.
Hmm.
We have always tried to bring in something new for
Hmm.
ourselves and for the listeners, for the music connoisseurs.
Hmm.
And I think that is something which brings out a new dimension of your own personality as a musician and a new dimension of your music for the listeners. Collaborations are really wonderful, but it really has to be meaningful.
Yeah.
It has to be a proper composition.
Hmm.
It cannot be a vague structure that you just select a couple of lines and then everything is happening on stage. I believe in moving in a structured manner
Hmm.
when it comes to fusion work.
Hmm. Hmm.
With the grace of God, it's been, the wonderful collaborations that have happened so far.
Interestingly, as a child, you wanted to be a player, hockey player, and you've done your MBA and music. So, where does all this come together?
Well, as a child, I was always into all kind of
Hmm.
these activities, be it sports, paintings, any competition that would take place in school, I would take participate in that, and I would never actually worry about the result of that competition.
Hmm.
For me, participation has always been something which I've really loved.
Hmm.
And even now, when I meet young children, I just tell them that it's the participation which matters rather than the result of that participation.
Right.
It's been something which I've followed as a, in my childhood.
Hmm.
And I've been a pretty good hockey player. I have played for the Delhi team.
All right.
I was in. I've played till national level, but within the sports,
Hmm.
my education and everything, music was something which had a very special place right from the beginning. It could be because of my legacy, being into this atmosphere of music right from day one, rather even before my birth, and it has given me some kind of discipline in my life, trying to shape my entire persona in that particular way, because sports and academics that really give you a great discipline of your life.
Right.
And music, finally, I learned early, because in our family,
Mm.
learning is must. We cannot escape this learning part.
Mhm.
Whether somebody loves or not, you have to learn music. And we have choices. We have santoor, sitar,
Right.
tabla, even vocal.
Mm.
And all my cousins who are based abroad,
Mm.
they have learned. Somebody has learned singing, somebody has learned violin, piano, whatever. In fact, one of my cousins, he's perhaps going to become a pianist now.
Okay.
So music has always been there. My two of my uncles, very senior scientists in United States,
Mm.
but both of them, if they play, nobody can judge whether they are full-time musicians or not.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a little difference, because somebody who's not into 24 hours into music, you can easily see that through the playing. But it's proper playing which they do, that they have learned properly. So learning is must.
Okay.
And then the most beautiful part in our family is the choice of career that is given to every individual. There is no force that no, you have to take up music because you belong to this
Mm.
great legacy. Not at all. Even my father, he never told me. He was very happy, the fact that I was more into sports, and even doing my the graduation and all into management.
Yeah.
So there was no pressure from Papa.
Mm.
That's, I think, something which should be given to every child. The
Mm.
decision of choosing your profession, your career. Because when you choose your profession as your interest, which is your field of interest, you can contribute much more to the society and to the entire planet, actually.
Mm. And tell me a little about your doctorate thesis. That's really interesting.
Well, actually, how I came into the music part of my education, because my background has essentially been management and computers.
Yeah.
I was in US, and I wanted to do some research on the sound therapy.
Okay.
And the lab with which I was trying to associate, one of the very senior scientists there,
Mm.
happens to be a friend of my father. He said, I either need to be from medical line, or I need to be a scholar,
Okay.
and only then I can get attached to a lab and do some kind of experimentations,
Mm.
at least there.
Mm.
And I thought, well, medical is something which is not possible for me. The best I can do in the medical field is go and meet a doctor. That's the best I can do, but never become a doctor, actually.
Mm.
But yes, what I could have done is do some kind of research in music, and that's how I went into the graduation of my music, then masters, and now finally I'm working on my thesis, which will eventually come out as a book as well. It's actually, as you rightly said, it's really beautiful, because I'm trying to correct the cultural history of Kashmir.
Which is.
Because there have been historians,
Mm.
when they have written about the culture of Kashmir,
Mm.
they have always gone into a line which tries to project Kashmir as a very bankrupt kind of a society,
Mm.
a land which has been culturally barren, and only because of certain influences,
Yeah.
whether that was during the 14th century or earlier, something culturally got introduced into Kashmir, which is not the fact, because even when they talk about santoor, they say, well, it's an Iranian instrument, the Persian instrument, and it came into the 14th century. But yeah, it's called Shatatantri Veena. Now, when we talk about Shatatantri Veena, we are actually talking about Purana, which got written in 3rd or 4th century.
Right.
An instrument which is referred
Mm.
into the manuscripts in the 3rd or the 4th century, or even earlier,
mm,
Why do we need to bring the same instrument in 14th century from Persian music? So, it's actually a correction of cultural aspect of history of Kashmir.
mm,
And certain, I'm actually working on the music part more, but
mm.
something very beautiful. I'm myself, learning so much through my thesis.
Okay, okay. And your music initiative in the valley, in which primary school children to those older are acquainted with music. That is very interesting. I mean, music as therapy also. So could you elaborate on that?
Well, I've always felt, I started working in J&K,
Hmm.
trying to introduce music festivals because in 1990, due to the exodus, we shifted to Delhi. And
Right.
after that, for next 10 years,
Hmm.
I didn't get to go back so much back to Kashmir. But I did go, but it was part of Papa's function, just sitting in the audience, not doing much. But after 2000, I actually started working there.
Hmm.
And one thing which I really felt, be it Kashmir or be it Jammu region,
Hmm.
that children don't have the access to the creative arts, and very selected, very few get to have this experience, who are into private schools which
Hmm.
have the facilities of
Hmm.
having music teachers,
Hmm.
painting teachers and all.
Hmm.
And I actually felt something really needs to be done, and it took me lots of years
Hmm.
to work on this, because when it's something which is about doing something in terms of a policy decision,
Right.
so it takes quite a lot of time. And finally in 2016, I think,
Hmm.
we had a breakthrough, and so delighted to share that with you. The first cultural policy meeting, which was held in Jammu and Kashmir,
Hmm.
and you know they brought in lots of members, and everybody shared their views on that. And essentially my idea was to bring in all art forms together. I want children to, and which comes through the education side of it. It
Hmm.
took me another 2 years, and then finally part of the education policy.
Hmm.
So the government introduced
Hmm.
uh, music as a subject, which was a great thing, because it was done earlier during my grandfather's time, I think
Hmm.
in maybe 60s or so, that
Hmm.
he introduced music in one of the schools and colleges
Hmm.
there, and then it got spread to some more. But what vision my grandfather had, because he uh, introduced music as a subject at higher level in
Hmm.
women's college in Kashmir.
Okay.
And how that really benefited the entire society is that when those girls,
Hmm.
because they learnt music, and then when they became mothers,
Yes.
it was but natural that their children
Hmm.
they got this exposure
Hmm.
of music. Because in Kashmir,
Hmm.
like any other society in the country, music and dance, there were social taboos attached to it.
Right.
But in Kashmir, there was also a religious taboo attached to it.
Right.
But bringing in young girls and teaching them music, and then their children having that sheer love for music and creative arts, that was a great thing which my grandfather
Hmm.
did. And that's what I told the government
Hmm.
in J&K, that we really need to move forward,
Hmm.
uh, apart from what my grandfather did decades back. And then finally, as part of the education policy, the many of the schools and colleges,
Hmm.
they got music as a subject. And the good part is, it got introduced at the university level.
Okay.
So children can actually opt for music as one of the
Hmm.
subjects. And
Hmm.
it also created job opportunities for the youth. Suddenly we had one music teacher or instructor in every district, at least in one or two colleges. So that's something, I thank government for moving ahead, because sometimes the things only get remain on
Hmm.
papers
Yeah.
and nothing really happens.
Hmm.
But our country in general, we really need a very powerful cultural policy. A lot has been done in the education side recently, but I think more to be done, more to be contributed. That for young children, it's so important, for their development, for
Hmm.
their It just develops, it builds your patience, it builds concentration,
Hmm.
it just refines your personality, just makes you a beautiful human being. And that's what we need in a you know in our country. When we talk about India in 2020 and ahead, we need beautiful matured citizens, and that's where music really plays its role.
And what's next for you once everything opens up? Once the lockdown is a thing of the past?
Well, frankly speaking, when it comes to art and culture,
Hmm.
uh, it really goes through lots of struggle.
Hmm.
Uh, when there are crises, the first
Hmm.
area where the budgets are cut is art and culture.
Hmm.
But when we have to represent our country, the first is, of course, art and culture.
Right.
We need more respect
Hmm.
as individuals in this country.
Hmm.
We need to have more respect for our art and culture.
Hmm.
And we really lack in that particular area.
Hmm.
For us, art and culture, we don't give so much of emphasis
Hmm.
to our creative arts. So
Hmm.
that is something which we really need to do now after the lockdown
Hmm.
is over, completely over, and the things are much better.
Hmm.
I think it will still take a lot of time for classical music, folk music, and traditional arts to come back to a state of normalcy, because there are too many things. The economy aspect is also there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a phase of a very, what I would call a phase of struggle, which is going to be there for in art and culture.
Hmm.
But I think we need to be very strong and be very optimistic in our approach,
Hmm.
and just keep on doing our work. I think I'll be, once the things are back to normal, whenever the concerts start happening,
Hmm.
we'll be back into that. But more needs to be done, since we got, a side which was unexplored actually that way by musicians, which is digital side. So a lot, I think, will happen now digitally as well, and I think we'll have to work on that area also, reaching out to the masses
Hmm.
through digital platform in a much better way, because right now we don't have too many options. Things happen on phone, you record on phone, there are webinars happening, but taking that to a different level, I think that's what really that's going to happen now.
It's been such a pleasure talking to you. I hope we get to meet in the
Yeah.
real world very soon. And take good care. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you so much. You
Thank
take care.
you. It's been such a pleasure. Bye.
Pleasure here as well. Bye bye.